Hello everyone, welcome everyone to the Coaching Clinic episode 1 by the Jay Shetty Certification School. We are very happy to welcome you to this new initiative by the Certification School by Jay Shetty, and the goal of our Coaching Clinic initiative is to help you experience the power of group coaching and the power of coaching framework by Jay, which is the ABCs of coaching. This initiative has been created in mind with support, community, and guidance during these changing times. And today we are your hosts. My name is Medina Ahmedova. I'm the leader of the Jay Shetty Certification School. And with me is my co-host, Viraj Oza.
Hey everyone, how are you? It's so cool to be here. Thank you for being here.
We are really happy and excited to welcome each and every one of you. If you can tell us where are you joining from today, we would like to know where are you tuning in from. Hi Amanda, Nejme, Anisha, great to see you here today. We have some of our students joining us today as well, and this is super rewarding. And so let us introduce you first to how today's session is going to run. We have received so many questions from the audience ahead of time, and we're definitely looking forward to answering each and every of your questions today. So first of all, we are going to explain the theme. The theme of today's episode is self-coaching during the global change, and we are going to run it in a format of group coaching and, of course, the Q&As. As we have received more than 70 questions for tonight, most of them were arising around confidence, how to cope with the current change, but also, interestingly, how to serve others during these times. Viraj, which topic are you mostly excited about?
Wow, I mean, they're all great topics. I think coping with change is the one that I think most people are dealing with. So it'll be interesting to see when we go into that, what we're able to share.
Absolutely. I also think that the questions we have received were really deep and meaningful. So I'm really looking forward to sharing some tips and insights from you with our listeners and viewers today. So apart from questions around confidence and coping with change, we also received some requests on tips on how to organize your day and how to basically adjust to this new way of life during these unprecedented times. So this our clinic is going to be centered around confidence because as per your votes, as per your polls, confidence was one of the most interesting topics. And we thought it's going to be a great idea to focus on this topic today because confidence influences everything we do. And it definitely affects how we are coping with the change, even though it may not be as obvious. Isn't it, Viraj?
Absolutely.
So to start and explain how confidence affects everything we do and why is it so important to develop confidence during these changing times, first of all, let's look at the 4 levels at how confidence affects everything we do. So confidence really is a multifaceted trait, and it really affects us on different levels, especially now. It affects us on cognitive level, behavioral level, affective level, and physiological level too. So let me explain each level to you so that you understand why today's group coaching session is going to be so powerful. At the cognitive level, our confidence affects our thoughts, memories, and beliefs. At the behavioral level, our confidence affects what we say or what we do. At the affective level, confidence affects our feelings and emotions. And at the physiological level, confidence affects changes in our body, such as heart rate, blood pressure, and of course, many other signals that your body may be giving you when you are lacking confidence. Viraj, how do you think confidence affects us at each and every level?
It affects us to the extent of from the very start of our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, and therefore it influences our actions and influences our results. And you can see quite clearly, as it's demonstrated there on the slide, that it's a multi-layered thing. It's not just confidence like it's like this one thing that we must have, but it's very nuanced, and it's getting to the core of where we're feeling a lack of confidence or where we want to increase that confidence and building off of that.
Absolutely. I think it's really powerful to understand that confidence can help us cope with the change better, and confidence can affect our behavior so that we can fine-tune it to behave in a different way when the world around us is changing. So, our dear clinic attendees, are you ready for some group coaching? If you are, let us know in the comments, and let us know if you prepared the pen and paper, because we're going to do some exercises today to go through sequences of coaching questions so you can understand how confidence and its roots are hidden at the moment, in our conscious and subconscious behavior. So maybe we can change a thing or two about it today. So let us know if you're ready, and we are going to proceed really, really soon. But first, Viraj, what do you think is, how do you think confidence is actually affecting the process of coaching clients? Like when somebody comes to you and they say, I am struggling with, let's say, organizing my day, or I am struggling with getting a new job. Where do you think confidence fits, in the process of coaching of that inquiry?
I think immediately confidence goes straight to the end outcome, and we look at where we are and we see the gap. And sometimes we can get so caught up by the gap that we don't look at how we can close the gap. So it's almost flipping the outcome, is rather than confidence being an outcome or result driven process, actually an outcome or result given thing. Actually, it's a process driven thing that we're very much in control in, and we can accelerate and decelerate as quickly as we choose to.
Absolutely. And I also think that today's exercise is going to help our attendees of the coaching clinic to discover what are the real roots of confidence, what are the reasons sometimes we are not proceeding, with things that we would like to do, and what really holds us back. Is it external or internal issues? So this is going to be really interesting. And Josette, for example, is saying that she is already ready to change her life. And so, Viraj, let's not hold back, and let's start immediately with the first question. So the way group coaching is going to work is that we are going to be asking you a series of reflective questions. It is a good idea for you to write down your answers in your own notepad or whatever you are using, but please also do share them in the comments, because in the process of group coaching, you discover a lot of new things about yourself, but also about others. And by learning from others and from their reactions and responses, you are developing a broader outlook. Viraj, would you like to add anything to that?
No, let's do this. Let's dive in.
Let's dive right in. So, our dear listeners and viewers today, describe in the comments below or in your notepad, what is your definition of confidence? Or in other words, what does confidence mean to you? There are no right or wrong answers today. You are just reflecting, you are diving deeper, you are discovering your own answers within. Write in the comments, what is your own definition of confidence, and what does confidence mean to you? Viraj, can you already see some responses coming in?
Yes, we've got one here. Looks like just always looking to learn more.
Okay, wonderful.
Mindset.
So I can see that always looking to learn more, pen and paper ready. I did set notifications, but yet no answers on the definitions. And here is the first one. Cam says confidence is being assertive and strong. What do you think about this, Viraj? Is this correct?
I think that's certainly a part of it for sure. And then we've got a comment here from Stacey Parker. Being fearless and being completely comfortable with yourself. I really like that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a powerful one. I also see a great answer by Figlio. And Figlio says, confidence to me is removal of doubt, not looking for external validation. I think that is very powerful too. And Kumari says, being fearless. Yeah. Right? Janice says, I think of it as my ability to accomplish what I set my mind to, similar to self-efficacy. Well, these are all very powerful definitions. Amanda says, a foundational feeling of stability that can provide focus and generate excitement on everything you are creating and executing with conviction and even passion. Kanika says, be able to survive and be strong no matter what. Tonia says, believing in myself. Viraj, which definition do you most resonate with?
I like the one where it's I lost the name, but it's about my measurement.
My measurement.
I'm capable of.
That's powerful, right? That's
Yeah.
really powerful.
Just scrolling up, see if I can find it.
Yeah. I also can see great definition by Sharon, my ability to feel relaxed and knowledgeable in my own skin and reflect that to others to serve. I think this is powerful too.
Very, very good.
I also think it's interesting, Viraj, how each one of our listeners and viewers today has their own definition of confidence, isn't it?
Yes. It's really refreshing to see actually the broad range and just how, and thank you for everyone for being really authentic about this as well.
Yeah. I think it's a reflection of how each one of us reads, understands, and interprets confidence in a different way. To all of us today, the learning can be even from this first small reflective exercise question, how differently we all perceive and interpret confidence. Can you already see while you're reading in the comments how we all interpret it differently? This is already a very powerful finding for you to understand that there is no right or wrong definition, right? And each one of us feels that confidence has a different superpower for us, right? And as we go deeper, we will be able to understand where that power lies within for each and every one of us. For example, Hengame says, be able to ask the right questions, tools, so that the client is getting the feedback that guides them. Hengame, I know you are the student in the certification school, so we can definitely see some power of coaching in that answer. As another student of others, knowing who I am and what I stand for, my values. Beautiful, beautiful. I think this is such a great engagement, but also this is within yourself. Thank you again for being so authentic and being so, productive with this exercise. And so, Viraj, I think it's time to uncover what are the real definitions of confidence and how different sources, scientific and unscientific, interpret confidence, as well. So, Viraj, for you, what is confidence to you? I wonder, what is your definition?
Yeah, confidence for me is a measure of what I believe that I'm capable of doing and achieving, and it's fluid. It's not fixed. It's not capped. It's how far I'm willing to go to push myself to the edge to realize there's a new frontier. Absolutely.
I think this is a wonderful definitions, and Amanda already says, I love all these wonderful explanations. Amanda is also a student in our certification school. And Amanda, I'm sure you are taking notes as you're looking through the questions, as it also uncovers the depths of understanding. So let's dive together into the definitions of confidence to understand how different sources interpret confidence and which definition is the closest. For example, definition by Adrian Tannock, a famous life coach and an author of the Confidence Workbook, interprets confidence as a state, feeling, or belief stemming from reliance, appreciation, or certainty. That's a deep one. I will let that sit for a minute and I will also repeat that. And I recommend that you also read with me and you analyze this definition with me. A state, feeling, or belief stemming from reliance, appreciation, or certainty. Viraj, as an experienced coach and now a coaching supervisor, how do you interpret this definition? We know how powerful definitions are for coaches and how important it is to understand the concept. If you could help us elaborate on this definition.
Yeah, I mean, I think on that definition alone, it's really just having that self-awareness of what is it that you can count on yourself to do, and just being appreciative of that and knowing that you have that already in your locker, and just being that, like being what you already have is enough, and just serve from that space.
Absolutely. Beautiful explanation, Viraj. Thank you so much for helping our viewers today understand this deeper. If this definition resonates with you, make sure you start learning by repetition. This is one of the concepts that really helps our students. Learning by repetition means, the more times you are going to repeat the concept, you are going to, let's say, consume it in different formats, the more knowledge you are going to log from today's session. So if this definition resonates with you, you can type it in the comments or you can just write it down in your notepad. Now, let's look at another definition, which is more formal, and this definition was provided by Cambridge University. And it sounds as the quality of being certain in your abilities or of having trust in people, plans, or future. I'll repeat that again. The quality of being certain in your abilities or of having trust in people, plans, or future. Viraj, what do you think about this definition?
I prefer the first one, but yeah, I suppose tying in with that, it is having that trust of yourself first and foremost, and then the people that you rely on and that you can trust, and it's that external exhibition of confidence that, okay, I trust in myself and I have trust in you, and I'm confident that we'll proceed in the way that was intended.
Absolutely, absolutely. I do also think that this definition is super deep. And when you read the sentence, the definition, maybe in the beginning, it seems like basically confidence is a quality, and when you are certain in your abilities, or you have trust, then you are basically confident. But I also think that when we look at the part which says having trust in plans or future, this is such a timely, at the moment with this changing times, this is such a timely explanation. For example, when we do not have trust in future, when we have uncertainty, it reflects on our self-confidence. Even though it will not be obvious in the beginning, a lot of you may experience sudden changes because of the change that is happening around you. Unfortunately, confidence is also being affected because when you are losing trust in the future, when you are developing uncertainty, that is why you also feel your confidence is dropping. Do you agree, Viraj?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think, if anything, that's been brought to the forefront over the last few weeks that everyone's experiencing across the world.
Absolutely. Viraj, look who is back.
Hello.
From Pathway to Life Coaching, Yuvarajan, we have been missing you. We are so happy to have you back. Yuvarajan says, confidence for me is a self-lifting feeling which could become a catalyst to perform within or beyond our predetermined limit. Yuvarajan has gone so far since we met last in February in the Pathway to Life Coaching program. It's so good to have you back, and thank you for sharing. Please go ahead and share with us more of your wisdom. We really missed your comments, Yuvarajan. Stacy, so good to see you here. And I think, Viraj, if we are clear on the definitions, what do you think if we will proceed with the second reflective question?
Yes,
and we'll dive deeper. So if everyone is ready, let's prepare your pen and paper, or you can simply type in the comments below your answer to the second group coaching question today. If you felt absolutely confident, what would you do today? I'll repeat. If you felt absolutely confident, what would you do today? An example of your answer could be, if I was fully confident, I would start that blog. If I was fully confident, I would write a letter, asking for forgiveness, let's say, for something I've done. If I was fully confident, I would apply to that job that I was afraid to apply for. Viraj, can you give us some more examples maybe?
Yeah, if I was fully confident, I would get the physique that I wanted. If I was fully confident, I could ask that person out on a date. So many of them just come to mind. Where
absolutely, this exercise is going to help you understand what exactly lack of confidence is holding you from. Maybe it's a big dream, maybe it's a big goal. Oh, Nicole, I don't know how to react to your answer, because Nicole says, I would break up with my boyfriend and sign up for the Jay Shetty Certification School. I'm torn because on one side, I'm very happy that you are considering signing up for the certification school. On the other side, it is really sad that our lack of confidence sometimes holds us back even from breaking up from relationships that we know are not right. Viraj, I know you definitely have something to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like that's obviously a tough choice between two things that you may want to do, and what I would suggest in that is just separate the both and not have one attached to the other.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
then look at it from that perspective.
Could not agree more. Nicole, well, I really hope that our exercise today is going to help you find out what is the right next step for you. We are hoping that today you will discover your own answers within using this sequence, and short tips. Dean says, if I was fully confident, I would quit my job and become full-time self-employed. What do you think, Viraj?
I think that's a really, really great goal. And of course, if I may interject, I think part of that is rather than going from 0 to 100, phase that in. It doesn't have to be quit to start that job. It could well be what you need to do in the interim to be in a position to quit your job and go full-time self-employed.
Absolutely. Another great realization from Amrita. Amrita says, I would start my video blog that I have been trying to since a few months, a dance blog. It's such a pity to see how our talents and our gifts sometimes are withheld just because, we feel that lack of trust, or lack of full confidence in our abilities. And Amrita, I'm sure your dance blog would be absolutely amazing. Another interesting finding, I'm just taking time because there are so many great realizations in the comments. This is so powerful. Mehroz says, to make a choice of life is said to be you are fully confident. I think, such a powerful realization that Mehroz came up with. Thank you, Mehroz. Nejme, I hope I'm pronouncing right, says, I would dance live on social media. That is absolutely amazing. Stacy Parker says, signing up for this course, which I am, have been talking with Michael Buddhist. So good to hear. We are looking forward to welcoming you. Camille, I would quit my job, start my company, write a book. 3 very powerful goals. And Camille, we hope today's exercise is going to give you some bravery, courage, to go ahead and do this. Melania, if I was fully confident, I would start in a new business. Mital, if I was fully confident, I would start emailing, messaging the brands I want to work with. Mital, what's holding you back? Why can't you start messaging and emailing them?
Yeah, do share with us why.
Yeah, like why you are not messaging and emailing them? Let's dive deeper. What is stopping you from writing that email and hitting send? What is the barrier? Stacy, if I was fully confident, I would finish an overwhelming task. This is a good one, isn't it?
That's a very, very good one.
A lot of the questions that came from you for today's session were around how can I structure my day? How can I be more productive? How can I, find more structure and organization with everything I do now that the world is changing? Viraj, how would you respond to Stacy with this powerful realization? I think that's an interesting to dig in.
Yeah, I suppose it kind of goes back to the overwhelm point as well, but it's like, are you overwhelmed by the size of what it is that you're up to, and therefore looking at it as a really bigger thing than where you're at right now, rather than what would it be to just make an inroad? Like, what's the first few baby steps that you can begin, which then lead you on to the next few steps and the next few steps, and all of a sudden something that's big or out of control or overwhelming actually just becomes much more smaller and manageable.
Absolutely. Thanks, Viraj. That was a really good tip. I think that was very powerful. And I hope you guys are taking notes, because those tips seem small or simple, but in the smallest tips sometimes hide the best solutions, to the current blocks that we have. We have so many powerful realizations and they keep flowing. Now, Figlio also says, if I was fully confident, I would leave a job that I know I am a square peg in a round hole. I mean, Figlio, so honest, thank you so much for being so open. Bob, Yvonne Thompson, if I was fully confident, I would start my coaching business. Why don't you, Bob? What is holding you back? Is it lack of exposure? Is it lack of knowledge? Is it lack of skills? What is it? Let's dive deeper. Renee says, I would enter all social situations without fears of others' opinions. This is a good one too, because fear of opinions of others also usually holds us back from many achievements. Viraj, do you give any tip to Renee?
Yeah, I would question, whose opinions are you afraid of? The people that you're with, or people that have influenced you in the past? Yeah. And just come in with, where are you reacting? Who are you reacting to?
Absolutely. I also would like to ask you, Renee, or I would like you to ask this question. Opinions of other people that you are afraid of, how relevant are they? Sometimes opinions of other people that we are afraid of have absolutely no relevance. For example, your boss may think of you that you are a highly unorganized person, but that may be entirely not true. Maybe he has that opinion from former times when you demonstrated once lack of organization, but you have changed, and therefore his opinion is no longer relevant. Think about this too. Salim, I know Salim is also one of our students. I would start my own YouTube challenge. Salim, tell us more. Which challenge
I'm
and
curious about that now as well. What is this YouTube challenge?
absolutely. We want to know what is holding you back. Samina says, I would write my articles in real, which I keep making in my mind. Samina, you should definitely let the world know what you have, and what you're carrying around, because you never know how many people can benefit from that. We have so many realizations. I want you to pause for a minute and look at all the comments to all the answers to these questions. Look at how many talented people we have right now with us, more than 100 people, and look at how many amazing initiatives the world has never seen because of our lack of confidence. And think about how many people could benefit from all those initiatives, from all those steps you are holding yourself from, if you just were able to develop trust in your own abilities. Viraj, what do you think?
I'm just blown away by some of the things that people are just leaving on the table. There's one here from Rajesh actually that really stands out. If I was fully confident, I would act in a movie. I was like, whose movie? Make your own.
Yeah.
There's just some incredible stuff here, which
I like Andrew's realization, because I think this is this is an illustration of how sometimes we even let other people suffer from the lack of help that we could provide because of lack of confidence. Just look at Andrew's sentence, everyone. If I was fully confident, I would reach out to all the people who are asking for help or guidance. I mean, this is a great, in a nutshell, this is an illustration of why lack of confidence sometimes is a sin. This is an example of how Andrew maybe could help hundreds of people if he was fully confident. Andrew, why? What's holding you back? We really want to know.
I'd love to know more.
I would love to know more about this situation. This is really powerful. Mo Williams says, I would start a business. Jerry says, I would join the Jay Shetty School and chase my dreams. Jerry, what's holding you back? We would love to know that too. Kanika, if I was fully confident, I would start coaching others after finishing coaching diploma already. What's holding you back? Let's dive deeper. Is it lack of knowledge? Is it lack of experience? What is it? We want to know. Now, Sharon, if I was fully confident, my dreams would give way to full reality. You see, Sharon, maybe your dreams could start changing lives already, but who is stopping you? Think about it. Who or what is stopping you? And Michelle, I would get back to learning the tech side of building my email list to increase my listening coaching business. So if we are going to dive deeper, Viraj, I think here is an interesting situation, right?
It really is, and it's just an action. If I look at it like just learning the tech side of building the email list, I would question, what does that have to do with confidence?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Michelle, it's interesting that even to start learning, in order to start learning, we feel like we lack confidence even in order to start learning. And perhaps the reasons underlying like why you are not learning the tech side of building your own email list are somewhere deeper. Maybe you are not learning because you're not motivated enough. Maybe you're not learning because you're not curious enough, about this aspect. That's the questions you want to ask yourself. Now, how about Michelle said text stupid. No,
even with that, actually, I think if you look at that, isn't that something that you could outsource? So you don't have to do it yourself. It's like you're just getting in the way of your own progression by trying to do something that you may just not be skilled enough to do or not willing to learn. So reach out to an expert that can do it for you and get that listing business out there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Stacy is giving an empowering message because a lot of comments or a lot of answers were about joining the school. Stacy says, if I can start the certification course at my advanced age, anyone can do it. Well, Stacy, you are one of our high performing students. You were highly visible starting from the pathway and in the certification school. You are definitely an example of everything is possible indeed. Now, I can also see a very interesting comment from Nikki. Nikki says, sometimes it's lack of knowledge and not a lack of confidence. The two get mixed up. Thank
Absolutely.
you. That's a very powerful realization. Sometimes when we lack knowledge or we lack motivation or we lack curiosity in the certain subject, that is when we want to kind of, cover it up sometimes with a lack of confidence. Isn't it, Viraj? Have you ever come across this situation?
Yeah, like there have been times where I've been trying to learn something and I've been creatively avoiding it. Like it's procrastination, and it goes longer, and then I feel, okay, I haven't done it. Maybe it's because I'm not confident. So you just end up going in that loop. And actually, it's just the application and maybe just a lack of focus, or not even aware or present to how much of a priority what you're doing is, and if it even is a priority.
Thank you, Viraj. Knowing our priorities is the key, isn't it? Because if we knew that learning tech side, for example, in the previous case, is the priority, we would definitely find time. And, if we were motivated enough, we would get to that. But sometimes, yes, the triggers of lack of confidence are much deeper within. Viraj, I'm curious, what would you advise to Andrew? Because Andrew basically says also that my lack of confidence comes from lack of training in this field. I am afraid that I would not be able to replace my income if I start this new journey.
I think he's kind of answered the first part of the sentence himself. There's just a lack of training. So
Right?
get training. And then in the second half, I'm afraid that I would not be able to replace my income if I start this new journey. Is you could still have that fear.
Yeah.
And that doesn't prevent you from taking the action until you know. Like it's one possible scenario of many. And what's to say that the confidence that you can get from upscaling your training is going to serve you, to serve others, to replace your income?
Absolutely. I also think, Andrew, that you found your answer partially because as we say, you have all the necessary answers and resources within. And in your case, it's the answer is really clear. You understand where it's arising from. It's just about action now. What are you going to do about it, right? Kate says, I feel like I lack the ability to see the worst in my knowledge and experience, yet I have degrees and certifications. Since we are on the same topic, Viraj, I thought this is going to be an interesting one to elaborate.
Yeah. It's either you devalue the institutions where you've got the degrees and certifications from, or it's just a lack of application to build your confidence. You've gone through degrees and certifications, and that actually takes something to complete. And actually maybe there were some actions that could have arisen from then, and they're stopped, and it's just revisiting that and saying, okay, where can I restart and get the ball rolling that way and build up your experience and knowledge along with everything that you've achieved so far.
Absolutely. Interesting comment also from Kanika. I'm willing, but I need a mentor who can guide me. I know I have knowledge and I'm willing to learn more. Where to start is the biggest hurdle. Before I will hand over to you, Viraj, in my case, I had the same block previously when I was younger. I always was saying, oh, if I had someone to guide me, I would definitely do this. If I had someone to tell me what to do, I would definitely do this. With age, I'm realizing more and more that there is nothing that you could not do on your own. It's again, as you said, about action. Like, which action am I taking every day to acquire the knowledge, that I need? Because we are living in the time when knowledge is available, but what do we actually do to acquire it every day? Do you want to add something to Kanika?
Yeah, I definitely believe that having a mentor or a guide is something that definitely adds value, but also it doesn't have to be someone that you physically meet. It could be something online. It could be a book. It could be any form of authority that you connect with, which gives you a platform, gives you a consistent message that you're looking for, that you align to. And knowing that you already have the knowledge and willing to learn more, it just means you're just leveling up your skills anyway, and just building on top of that, connecting with someone or something that is naturally you're naturally pulled towards. And I suppose in my example, when I first started off this journey, that person was Jay. Like, I had a few options of things that I wanted to look to, and just my values aligned with what he was talking about. So in that sense, I was like, okay, I'm just going to go with Jay and just see where it goes from there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Jay as a mentor is like a wonderful example. I like that you brought up that you don't really need sometimes someone to like stay next to you, and guide you every day. It could be an online source such as Jay's podcast, let's say, or Jay's page. I feel if you stay relevant, like if you stay continuously engaging, with the relevant content that he posts, you can already find so much guidance, like even in his podcast, and in his videos and in his new book, of course. So not always we need exactly a mentor. Guidance comes in so many forms and in so many phases, throughout our life. Now, Jesse is saying, I struggle with the belief that I don't have enough experience. It is always a wall I run into mentally. What do you think? What can we advise to Jesse?
What is the experience that you feel you're lacking, and focus on getting that before trying to climb the wall.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, this has been a very, very powerful experience of sharing and reading your answers. This is very enlightening. And I think now we are at the point when we can move a little bit further. And let's move further by understanding what prevents you from starting today. Write in the comments what prevents you from starting the initiative, or the step that you have described previously. What prevents you from starting it today? Dive a bit deeper and then evaluate. Is the obstacle you are experiencing internal, or is it external? Like, is the obstacle you're having is your belief, or is the obstacle really external, something that you cannot fix? Write down in the comments. Meanwhile, Denise also says Jay had a podcast in Mentors and said you can find mentor anywhere, media, self-education, and podcast anywhere. Absolutely right, Denise. And I also think as we are going to, graduate, a lot of our students and coaches who are going to be spreading so much wisdom, and so much help and service with the world. These are also platforms from where you can find a lot of guidance and a lot of support as well. So Najma said, I am coaching somebody and sharing what I have learned from Jay. Should I say that I learned it from Jay? What do you think, Viraj?
I mean, I think it's always good to pay it forward and honor where you've got it from, for sure.
Yeah. Now, Emma says her obstacle is internal. Good news, Emma, is that if the obstacle is internal, only you are the person who can remove the obstacle, isn't it, Viraj?
Yeah, absolutely.
And how can someone remove an internal obstacle? For example, if I want to write a book, but I do not start because I do not believe somebody is going to be interested in reading what I'm going to write. So my obstacle is internal, right? Because I have this belief. How do I fight that? How do I overcome that now?
So I would create the book for someone that you believe is going to read it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because it's a belief one way or another, and it's not out there in the world. So if you have a belief that's stopping you from doing something that you want to do because of an intangible hypothetical situation, then create one that does work for you and get started.
Yeah. Thanks, Viraj. That was powerful. Miriam says, I need to switch the lenses with a new perspective and change untrue beliefs I still hold on to and have attachment to. Miriam, this is a very powerful realization. And I think you are the first example today of how even during the 30 minutes, you can already find the answer, right, on the obstacle that is stopping you. Viraj, would you recommend anything else to Miriam since she...
Yeah, I like the analogy of lenses. And it's like, are you looking... so limiting beliefs, lack of confidence is like the short-sighted lens, whereas we also have the ability to focus on our peripheral vision. So how are we changing the lenses, and what are we focusing on that's stopping us, and how can we focus on something that's going to give us a much broader, wider view of everything that is there for us.
Yeah. Another similar comment from Diana Lima: belief or thought that I won't be able to finish the course. Internal. Again, internal. You see how interesting is that all of you shared what would you do if you were confident, and then you have analyzed what's stopping you from doing that, and then you have analyzed that, you know, most of the reasons are usually internal. And I think, at least in my life, Viraj, I don't know what about you, but at least in my life, 80% of my obstacles, if I analyze them, are usually internal. What about you?
Yeah, I'd say it's higher. For me, I think 90% of everything has been an internal thing, and then it's just working out the logistics. But with what Diana said there earlier about the belief being internal and having the thought, is that often we get caught up that we're having the thought, rather than just acknowledging, look at that, we just had this thought. Like, we become attached to having the thought and go into the rabbit hole of having the thought and all of that, and actually just sometimes just acknowledging, okay, yeah, I do have this fear and I do have this doubt, to just validate that you have it, and then switch and find what is almost like the opposite or the empowering version of that, and place the energy into that.
Absolutely. Well, Amanda, you know, we know a coach when we see one. Amanda is definitely now halfway through the program, as far as I know. And I really love what you wrote here, Amanda. Many times we have to navigate our own emotions and emotional reactions that are deep-seated and not necessarily easily controlled by our logic. Sometimes we have to understand our own psychology to approach a problem. What do you think, Viraj? Are you proud of our students?
I think she's absolutely spot on. It's awareness when it comes down to it. It's being aware that, okay, I'm just having this thought about something that I believe that I can't do, and I'm just aware that I'm just having this thought. That's it, and switch.
Yeah, and now we are going to dive in just 2 minutes on why. We're going to give you a really powerful exercise, but just let's go through few comments more. We can't go through them all. They are increasing. Thank you for being so participative and active today. Vandana says, internal, procrastination and mental block to get rid of negative feelings, thoughts, stopping me to think productively.
I think that sums it up quite nicely.
Right? Like another example of how we are stopping ourselves from having all those dreams you wrote in the comments executed. That is amazing, isn't it? Bettina, internal mostly, you know. Yuvarajan, again, the thing kept me from joining is the feeling too much on a plate for me to handle. I started my doctoral studies, currently in my proposal writing process, which is a tedious process on its own. Yes, Yuvarajan, we know about you pursuing a PhD. We congratulate you, and we hope you will graduate really soon, and we will be able to congratulate Dr. Yuvarajan. Congratulations.
I think, just on Yuvarajan's point, I think that's a really great example of, this is something that I want to do, and now isn't the time to do it. So let me put my energy and focus on what I can do, and then set myself up for the next step. Like, that's, it doesn't, and I suppose sometimes where we feel that lack of confidence is that we want the outcome now rather than committing to the process that's going to get us there. And what Yuvarajan shared there is almost the perfect scenario of wanting two things at the same time, and they're just not compatible from a balance perspective. So pick one, get that done, move on to the next, and that's progress and growth right there.
Yeah, you really said something really powerful, Viraj, and I want to reinstate it for our viewers today. It's knowing your priorities. Like, how important is to know what is really important to me right now. Now, our students who are taking the certification school, I know they love using one of Jay's favorite coaching tools, and that tool helps assessing different life areas and setting the priorities. Speaking about that, Marisa Federation is one of our students who is so close to graduation and is already coaching her practice clients. Marisa says, confidence is taking action in alignment with my values, dreams, and goals. Marisa, make us proud. You make us proud. Thank you so much for sharing. Nashma says, blogging and coaching for the start are for free, or how should we earn money? That is also a very relevant question, Viraj. While I'm preparing our next slide, we'll be able to advise Najma something.
I think starting off for free and just giving value not only gives you confidence in your process and your methods, but actually will also expose where there are certain gaps that you can fill. So that when you get to the point where you realize that you've filled most of those gaps and most of those scenarios, you just naturally will have more confidence and belief in your own product and service and can rightly command a fee for it. So I wouldn't get too attached by starting something to earn something, but to get to a stage where you feel confident and believe enough in what you're doing and learned and had a few failures in order to grow, that's vital so that you can then confidently get the value that you deserve.
Absolutely. Could not agree more with you, Viraj. And Hengame, again, our students already definitely, have a different perspective, different lens, take action. That's the only way you will know. Could not agree more with Hengame. And just before we go ahead to explaining the framework, Bettina says, I'm afraid to choose the wrong path or make the wrong decisions for the future. We understand the fear, Bettina, and all of us are afraid before taking a new path because you never know what is the end of that journey. Nobody can guarantee it's going to be a success. Remember when you were in school, could someone guarantee you are going to get an A or a B at the end and pass the exam? Nobody could guarantee that, but you drove that path. And by achieving the end of that path, you achieved experience and therefore you achieved confidence, isn't it? I also am looking at increasing comments, but I think we are going to take a pause. Otherwise, we are not going to.
I know, we can get so into these alone. There's so many amazing ones.
So powerful realizations. So today I would like to introduce you to a very simple exercise that is going to help you take an action. It's based on Bandura's theory, and Bandura's theory is all about how to boost your confidence and how to tackle 4 sources of self-efficacy. Bandura is a fan of explaining how confidence arises or stems from our feeling or perception of self-efficacy. And so his very simple exercise advises that within 30 minutes or 1 hour, you can easily, with one piece of paper and pen, instantly boost your confidence. If you want to try and do this with us, you can start immediately. I am going to give you step-by-step instructions. So you can take a piece of paper and you can divide it into 4 blocks or 4 parts, and each one of them is going to have a different title. One block on your piece of paper is going to be called Mastery Experiences. Second block is going to be called Vicarious Experiences. Third block is going to be called Social Persuasion. And fourth block is going to be called Emotional Status. Now, in Mastery Experiences, you can write down all things you have succeeded in past that you are proud of. So anything you've been able to achieve and accomplish and you really feel proud about, anything that gave you a feeling of, I am confident, I can, list it in that block. In the second block, list your vicarious experiences, and that is seeing people who are similar to you succeeding in a goal that you set for yourself. For example, I want to be a writer, but I lack confidence. I want to find a woman similar to my background when she started from the same place I am today and she became a successful writer. I want to take her as a role model, as watching her story will raise my confidence that I can too. If she could do it, I can do it too. In the third block, let's write down few examples of social persuasion. It could be any comments or great feedback that you have received from your peers, from your family, from your colleagues, from maybe your followers on social media. Anything that stands out to you, write it down in the third block of social persuasion. And in the fourth block, write down how you can reduce stress and maintain positive emotional status. Just 2 or 3 things. So this could be a bit heavy in the beginning, but by doing this exercise, you will instantly be able to see on one piece of paper, just with few bullet points, how close you are and what really stops you. By listing your mastery experiences, you are going to see that you will feel empowered. By listing the vicarious experiences, you will see that there are other people who are already doing it. And why can't you? What is the reason you can't if they could? By writing down social persuasion, you will have reaffirmation, revalidation that you can. And by writing down your own tips on your emotional status and managing stress, you will be able to program and set the course of your transformational journey to do everything you listed in the comments that you are not doing for some reason right after this live. Whatever you want to share while you are doing the exercise, please write it down in the comments. Meanwhile, Viraj, do you want to add anything to the exercise while our viewers?
I almost don't want to give the game away, but the one thing I do want to add to this is that at the start of this conversation, a lot of people felt that their goals and aspirations were quite far away. And what this exercise is going to reveal is how actually close you are. And it's just one or two steps when you connect to your experiences, whether it's through mastery or a vicarious experience, what feedback you've given you and how you can manage yourself, that you actually see that your confidence, how you felt that there's a lack of confidence, you're just really one or two actions away from achieving what it is that you want to get the ball rolling in, or something that's just going to elevate you from where you are to the next level. So I'm really, really excited to see what this exercise uncovers for a lot of you.
Yeah. And you don't have to really like go deep, and write tons of stuff. It could be just 2-3 bullet points on each block. We are really looking forward to see what you're going to come up with. And especially after doing this exercise, now you feel, okay, tomorrow I'm going to start writing this book. Now I get it. Now I understand. Or tomorrow I'm going to publish that dance blog. I'm going to start dancing tomorrow. I can, I should, I could. If you feel that, please share with us. Let everyone celebrate. Diana is asking, what was social persuasion? Diana, social persuasion is any peer feedback or any great comment externally, validation, that is basically evidence of your greatness, ever shared by your peers, colleagues, employers, maybe families, or any external validation that you have ever received that stood out to you. You really remember it. For example, it could be like, I remember last month my boss told me, I am really capable of public speaking right now. Now, this is reaffirmation, right? Viraj, maybe any other example better?
Yeah. It's something that just came to me. My director once said to me is that you've got a level of not just attention to detail, but reading between the lines that we've not seen before in what I was doing previously, which was a really cool compliment to get.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, compliments, if they are relevant, they definitely raise our confidence level. And Frida is asking to repeat about 2 and 3. Yeah, Viraj, would you be able to explain to Frida 2 and 3?
Yeah.
I think that's vicarious and social persuasion.
Yeah, so a vicarious experience is where you see someone that you're fairly close to and connect to, and you get to experience through them what they achieved. And that's something that you can just connect with and relate to that experience. And social persuasion is where someone or a scenario or a client or a customer has given you feedback or just acknowledged your contribution to them. And that's something that's still with you right now.
Yeah. So vicarious experience also is a good, if you are struggling to come up with vicarious experiences, just look for a role model. Like, who is your role model that you feel empowered by? So again, for example, if your goal or where you are lacking confidence is writing a book or launching a blog, which blogger is your role model? Looking at her story is going to give you the vicarious experience, basically reassuring you that if she could do it, I can do it too. Nikki is asking to reclarify emotional status.
So emotional status is just your feelings, like the time when you've just managed to feel a state of calm, peace, control, balance, focus, and what was it that had you feel that way?
Yeah, it's that, like, remember a time when you were feeling absolutely confident, like on top of the world. Like, what led you there? What was the environment, or like what have you done that time that you have achieved that emotional status of relaxation, confidence, being whole, being still, right? Feeling empowered. Nicole is asking a relevant question. What if I don't know anyone who has achieved what I want to do? That's one of my issues. I feel like I don't have a role model to look up to.
So I would create that for yourself. Like, if you genuinely can't find anyone that's achieved what you want to do, then be the first person to achieve that and craft your own story.
Yeah. And I think it also sometimes comes to knowing exactly what are you following, like what is the goal to find the right, vicarious experience. Because if we're just saying like, I'm not confident in general, of course, it's difficult to find, a role model and investigate vicarious experiences. But being very clear, again, it comes back to knowing your priorities right now. Like if you know that currently what I'm trying to achieve is, again, let's say write a book, then obviously I need to find for a role model who is a writer, but not just any writer who literally repeats the story of success that I have as an ideal one in my mind. Because by learning her story, first of all, I know if she could do it, I can do it too. But also I can know the steps. I can investigate how did she go from where I am today to where I want to be. What did she do? Which steps did she apply? And then you can replicate the steps, and perhaps that is going to cut down the road for you.
And actually, one just to add on to that is actually, if you know the place that you want to get to, reverse engineer it and work backwards. Like, what are the steps along the way, so that you can see for yourself that, and actually it's your process. So that way you're going to connect to it much more. So it doesn't occur as overwhelming. And it's just giving yourself that total control over that process rather than relying on things to come your way.
Absolutely. I love that we have the first person who did the whole exercise, Viraj. That was fast, isn't it? Michelle, so proud of you. Congratulations. You're the first one to complete the Bandura theory exercise today. Mastery, obtaining master's degree while raising 2 children alone and making magazine cover while modeling. Wow, that is impressive. Vicarious, several friends. Social, see beyond the words and listen deeply. Emotional, meditation while quieting self by ocean and listing.
I really like that.
Yeah.
And one thing I'd invite her to do now is take that and go back to where she wasn't feeling confidence with, and see how does that look to her now.
Yeah. I think, Michelle, now when you are going to look at your first comment, when you said, if I was confident, I would. Now look at how many great things you have already achieved in life. Isn't it enough evidence for you that you can do something else, that you can do anything you set your mind to? Okay, and Yuvarajan, he didn't share, but I think Yuvarajan came to some realization because he says, I am clear now. And we know when Yuvarajan says that, he has come to some realization. Jenny says there are so many great role models, mentors online like Jay Shetty, Rachel Hollis, Brooke Castillo, Brene Brown. Oh yes, love Brene Brown. We all do. Various others and speakers we can learn from. I think this is such a great point, Jenny, because we often overlook the power of the wealth of content that we have access to. And Viraj, I think it's a good idea to explain how you were going through this journey of tremendous transformation inside Genius. And you are an example for me of how can someone take existing content and apply it in a way that can actually transform your life. Because you could just skim through Jay's videos and absolutely not apply anything you've learned, but you chose to note down every word, apply it, and that is why you are where you are today, right?
Yeah, I think the first clear thing for me was just understanding where I was and what were my priorities. So almost 3 years ago, I was being signed off from work because I was just exhausted, burnt out, and all of that stuff. And I needed to kind of get myself physically and mentally right to get back to work. That's just where I was. And months passed, and I just wasn't getting to the place I wanted to get to. So I got to the point where I felt that, okay, I needed to get an external perspective because I was just trying to figure it out myself. And my confidence just kept diminishing and diminishing the longer I wasn't back to work. Because initially it was meant to be 3 months, and 7 months in, I was like, okay, now I need to seriously do something. And then I just connected to Jay and joining Genius. And the first thing I did was actually just look at exactly where I was and just take stock of here's just where I'm at with my mindset, my health, my spirituality, my relationships, my career, which is the most important thing right now. And it really was just mindset that I just saw how much I was putting myself in my own way of making decisions or course correcting. Like it was just tunnel visioned into going into a certain way. and then just taking things one step at a time, like getting my mindset right, and then focusing on my health, and then focusing on my relationships, and then focusing on my career, and then focusing on my growth and the area that I really wanted to go into, to the point where I realized actually I didn't even want to go back to work in the first place. Instead, I just wanted to create something for myself and serve people powerfully and just pay forward everything that I was learning. And again, that was another process of, okay, how do I want to make that start? What is the next thing? What is the next thing? And what I found is that now 3 years past, I'm in this position where it hasn't been one big thing, but it's just been a sequence of little things that have just linked together to get to where I am right now. And sure, there were moments where I had doubts and I wasn't sure if it was going to work, but I just connected back to why am I doing it and what is the first thing that I can do that's going to get the ball rolling, and then just feeling like I'm back in a process rather than trying to chase a goal is just the most liberating thing. And knowing that it's just going to continue to expand. And many of us in this chat right now have had a glimpse or a taste of what transformation is. And transformation is just something that you continue to expand. The moment you stop, you retract. And it's just catching the moments where you feel like you're stopping and saying, where am I at? What do I need? Who do I need? And just reaching out and not taking it on like it's something that you have to do by yourself, because you just burden yourself. And that's where all these beliefs and everything come in. And it's just being mindful of those traps. And hopefully these exercises have shown you what are some of the traps that you set yourself. And actually, where is your mastery? What are the experiences and persuasions that you gravitate towards? And how do you just get back to that emotional state of creativity and power to just go again?
Yeah. Viraj, that was very powerful. Thank you so much for sharing and for being so open. I really appreciate it. I know our viewers today can learn a lot from your story. And I'm sure when you were going through this transformation, there were times when you experienced like massive lack of confidence, because I mean, going from the corporate world to becoming a coach and then to a coaching supervisor, you had to challenge yourself and go out of your comfort zone so many times, and sometimes, you know, fail maybe, and then, you know, go back and apply the lessons learned. But that's why where you are where you are today, because you were able to repeat to yourself that I can. At the end of the day, I'm gonna get there. Yes, I'm not there right now, but I'm gonna get there one day. But I can't stop, because if I will stop, I will definitely not achieve my goal. But if I will not stop, there is a chance I am going to get there sooner or later, isn't it?
And we owe it to ourselves to give us that chance, because who else will?
We owe it to ourselves. I love it. I love it. We do owe it to ourselves. We owe to ourselves to share all these dreams and gifts and goals with the world that each one of you wrote down in the comments when you said, if I was confident, I would. If you were confident, you would write a book. And by not writing it, maybe you are taking away the value that you have from all the people that should have benefited, you know, from that book. That is how you want to think about it. Now, Stacy says, after having listened to many people in my past business, I became a good listener. I've learned from a friend now how to give true validation. And in mentoring a fellow Genius member, I have been blessed with compliments on my listening and guiding skills. In the end, I have overcome most of the stress I had in the first part of the certification course. Congratulations, Stacy, for sharing amazing, amazing story. Denise has done the exercise too. Denise says her mastery is managing cosmetologists. Social, she was told she's going to do great things and that she's good at reading people. Emotional, journaling. Vicarious, people that overcome adversity. And what is your finding, Denise, when you did this exercise? What is now your realization at the end, looking at all your evaluations? Najma, mastery, learning Swedish language and getting A grades in the school. Wow, that was not easy. Swedish is definitely not. That requires discipline, requires, you know, a lot of skills. So Najma, I mean, congratulations. Vicarious, Jay Shetty Social Persuasion. My friends tell me I'm a passionate speaker. Emotional status presentations in the university and when I was teaching kids in China. I can see clear the pattern, you know, in your clear achievements and abilities, you know, within learning, education, and speaking. And probably if you are having a goal that is holding you back and it has to do with education, I think you've got enough evidence, Najma, to see that you are capable of doing anything in that area if you were able to achieve just that. Now, Salim, very powerful share from Salim. I
Hmm.
can quit anytime, so why quit now? That's what I try telling myself whenever I face an obstacle. I love that.
Yeah, and also, what is the obstacle? Like, if it's not something physical, if you can identify yourself as you are the obstacle, and it's not that it's a bad thing, but it's how do you work with that?
Yeah, yeah. We all can quit anytime. I'm
Yeah,
always like
absolutely.
saying
I
that.
was just going to say that that's always a choice that you have.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like you can say no anytime, isn't it? When the opportunity presents itself to you, you can say no anytime, but there is limited time to say yes because opportunity doesn't ask when you are ready. It comes and presents itself. When you say no to an opportunity, you think you'll have time to say yes later, but the
Yeah.
opportunity may not arise later on. That's also what you want to think
And what
about.
I wanted to add to that as well is that there is a myth that someday will come, but when is someday? Particularly a month ago, where we had a very rigid view of what the world is going to be like, and that's now gone. So that, if anything, should show that the world and circumstances could change.
Yeah,
So rather go through the pain of growth than the regret and pain of pain without the pain of regret, and
absolutely.
thinking
Can
that
we
you
talk
could quit any time and never got started.
Absolutely. I really like how you brought the parallel, with how we didn't really imagine how the world can change in 24 hours. Like there was this day, like a couple of weeks ago, we all went to sleep in different days in our countries, but we all went to sleep, we woke up, and the world is just different. And this
Yeah.
is an illustration how nothing is certain, and the only thing you can count on is you, like your internal resources, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's one thing that I've been saying to myself a lot this week is that actually when these restrictions come off and when these lockdown ends is what am I going to be left incomplete with that I didn't get to do when I had the opportunity?
Absolutely. What are you going to do when the world is and the interesting thing is that the change happened, but we still don't know how many changes are ahead of us in our lifetime. The better we are prepared to handle change, it's like the best investment we can do in ourselves right now around the world, learn how to handle change. And I'm not talking about taking a course or reading a book. What I mean is we need to work on ourselves to understand that if tomorrow a bigger change comes or it repeats again, you will know the algorithm of handling this kind of situation.
Yeah, and I think that this was one of the questions that was sent in advance. I know we didn't get to answer it directly, but also recognizing that when change happens, who you are and the circumstances in which you've created your habits around have changed. So you have to allow yourself a period of adjustment to adjust to the new circumstances. And maybe 2 or 3 months down the line, when we're kind of used to sort of lockdown life, we're going to get back to whatever the real world is going to be back again. So there's going to be another period of adjustment where we're not working from home and getting out of bed and going straight to our laptops. We now have to make that adjustment. So it's knowing that, I suppose, to a certain extent, the uncertainty is always going to be there, but it's how much can you do in the moment that's going to determine really the quality and the quality of what you're going to have that's going to come up in your future. And that's a choice that we have right here, right now.
Absolutely. It's a choice. We always have a choice. And this is something that no one can take away from us ever. Like whatever changes will be happening, remember, we still have a choice. We have a choice on how to react. We have a choice on how to act, which action to take. We have a choice on how to interpret and with which lens to perceive the change, right? And so that choice is going to remain your power no matter what. And as Viraj, you were talking about the question that we had submitted on uncertainty and how to handle the change and uncertainty, there were quite a lot of them. One thing I also want you to think about, and reflect maybe after our clinic today is when we ever were certain in tomorrow. Do you agree with me that 2 months ago, when we didn't even think that the pandemic can hit the whole world, it seemed completely unrealistic. Weren't we complaining about other things? Weren't we saying, the world is not ideal? And now when we reflect and look back, we're saying, oh my God, 2 months ago, we lived in a perfect world, isn't it? How the perspective quickly changes, right?
And how our priorities have changed.
Priorities have changed, exactly right.
Yeah.
Like if 2 months ago you were planning your vacation and you thought you are in charge, or you have certainty, there you go. When did we ever, when were we ever able to control, right, what is happening around us and in our lives? Well,
it's funny. I just thought you just reminded me of something a friend of mine said. Was he was meant to be on holiday about a month ago, and on the day he was meant to fly, he goes, "It's funny, I was meant to be flying to Las Vegas today. Now I'm in line for toilet roll because that's the most important thing to me right now." So it just goes to show that a lot can change that's beyond our control circumstantially, but what we can change is how we react to it and how we generate ourselves in that situation.
Absolutely. And who we become in process of this change, because we still have control, right, over who are we going to become in this process. Let's call the life after the lockdown a new world, right? Who are we going to be in this new world? Are we going to be the same who we were 2 months ago? Or are we going to come out of this change as different people? And if yes, how different are we going to be? Maybe this time is given to you to develop self-confidence, to discover those exercises, with us and kind of go through the self-development. Maybe this time is given to you to reassess the priorities and get to know your family better. Maybe this time is given to you to discover a new form of service and the biggest satisfaction that comes from serving others. Because Biraj, we had one of the questions as well. How can I serve others during this time? How can I serve my friends better? And I think right now, like literally everyone can serve another person. And this is such a good time to discover a new meaning in your life and make your life truly remarkable, right? By serving others in all the ways, like in all the small different ways.
I totally agree. It's and I think the beautiful thing about service is that in serving others, other people will serve you in their own unique way. So it's a really nice chain and it's a reciprocal chain. So we in some ways we don't need to be too attached by what are we going to get in return. It's just you put service out, it just comes right back at you in another way.
Yeah, absolutely. I also think that when you are doing as much, for example, Jay, like he does so much service through everything he does, and daily work that he puts out there and sharing the wisdom, and sharing his learnings. One time he was saying that maybe I thought when I started, one of the series, one of the campaigns, I thought I'm doing service for others. But at the end, I realized I'm doing service for me, because when I'm serving others, that is the best feeling ever I could experience. And that feeling cannot be achieved or acquired through any other activity or action, but only by serving others, because that's the true meaning of life.
And you can see how it's driven him to serve even more, and the growth that he's achieved personally, and also how that's impacted so many people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And each one of you can also impact another circle of people and another circle of people with what you do and with your service. And that is how, if each one of us created a goal to impact and serve others, maybe the world is going to be in a totally different place. So many great comments and so many great realizations. I hope everyone enjoyed doing the exercise. And Amanda, again, is sharing a great realization. We're never tested or grow when we are comfortable. These challenging times provide us the best opportunity to discover new meanings and strength in ourselves. Beautiful, right?
Amazing. Diamonds are created under pressure, right? So
absolutely. Deb is saying this is the right time to share the love, knowledge, and help with others to make the world a better place. Could not agree more. There has never been a better time to share love and knowledge. Yeah. Bob, also a beautiful statement. The world is healing. We need to help one another. Be kind. We will all be changed.
Beautiful.
Beautifully written. Poonam is saying, working on my why is better than working on my what.
I think that hits the nail on the head. Like, if your why is powerful, that's going to drive your what, and your how becomes easy.
Absolutely. Nicole says, thank you so much for this amazing experience. Nicole, we are so happy you helpful. That was the goal today. I'm looking forward to joining the Jay Shetty Certification School, and we are looking forward to welcoming you. Thank you so much. And lastly, let's go over some questions. Guys, you submitted over 70 questions. We will not be able to address them all. We tried to go deep today to help you discover your own answers. But if you have any questions, drop them please in the comments below. We will spare another 10 minutes, Viraj, to answer
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do this.
We are very happy to answer anything you have in mind, because there were so many, but we cannot scroll through all of them because they were coming so fast. So if you can drop your question, to go. Emma says, mastery, completing a degree and finishing, paying that off. Bravo, we are proud of you.
Awesome.
Becoming a counselor, amazing. And paying that off through that work, successfully becoming a senior business analyst after the 7th try. Wow. After the 7th try. Vicarious, several good coaches who I look up to and who come from similar mindset. Social, good feedback from coaches and colleagues. Emotional, reading, music, gaming, learning, allowing myself to rest and be pampered. Emma, great analysis.
And I would love to know what you are not feeling confident about having read that.
Exactly. How can you not feel confident after achieving all of this and knowing yourself so well, right? Josette says, I am glad to attending this live class, and I go join Jay Shetty School.
Amazing.
We are really happy you have enjoyed this. Anisha, thank you for such an amazing session. It has been very insightful. I'm looking forward to put some of this into actions. Anisha, yes, we are looking forward. Nikki, thank you so much for your time, wisdom, and guidance. And thank you for being with us today. And we do have some questions as well.
Amazing.
Tonia. Oh, Tonia is asking a really good question. When speaking, how do you start off to capture your audience and keep their attention? Go ahead, Viraj. That's a question for you.
So it's really knowing, like, what is it that you're there for? Like, what are you speaking of? And if that topic is compelling and you're aware of who your audience is or who you're speaking to, and just stay in that mode, you'll naturally keep their attention. And that goes to whether you're on creating a social media video or actually in person, like just knowing why you're there and how you're there to serve them. That just takes the emphasis and your focus on just that service piece.
Absolutely. I would also add to this, Tonia, I think, when you are speaking to the audience, you don't need really to put as a goal to capture the attention of the audience. You really have to focus on connection. Right. The power of Jay, for example, and why he's so different and captivating, he's always very genuine, and he always tries to connect first without putting an agenda. Let's say, I want really to captivate 80% of people or achieve this goal. The thing is, when you are speaking in public, your brain cannot focus on two things. It only can focus on one. Let it be speaking and connecting genuinely with your audience. Because if you will start thinking of, am I speaking well? What do they think about me? You won't be able to focus on the value that you are providing, because you will be then focusing inward. And when you're speaking, you have to really focus outward, because speaking is also service, isn't it, Viraj?
Yeah. And I think that's when you can that's what they call flow state and being in the zone. Like, you're just there in your inner core and it just flows from that point onwards, which naturally is going to captivate anyone.
Absolutely. We have a lot of appreciation. Thank you so much, guys. We are really happy it helps. Nejma is asking, can I ask the price of coaching certificate here? So not today, we are really focusing on coaching, but if you want to get answers, if you can just send a message to our page right here, they are going to instantly provide you with the full brochure and answer all of your questions. Yuvarajan is saying goodbye to us, and he's thanking us for our...
Great to see you, buddy.
Yuvarajan, looking forward to seeing you again. And Clara also is thanking us. Thank you. When it's the right time, I will do this anytime. At your time, at your own pace. There is absolutely no rush. Juan, thank you for offering such rich information and exercise. I have zero doubts on committing to Jay Shetty Certification. Thank you. It really means a lot to me. Michelle, thank you. I will be joining. If for no one else, for myself to be a better human. Jay Shetty Certification.
To hear that you're committing to yourself, that's amazing. So cool. So cool.
That's really, really powerful. Michelle, if you were able to get today with a new belief, if we were able to change one small belief that we had about your abilities, that is already a huge reward and achievement for us. Sahil, it has definitely given so much learning and some perspective from listening to this session. We are so
Thanks,
happy.
Fahid.
Chichi is also asking about the price. Chichi, I'm sure your comment definitely is going to be seen by the team. They will be able to contact you via message and send the brochure. And Suhab, how can I look for what options do I have available to learn more? I am not very clear, but if the question is about available to learn more about confidence or about, can you clarify, Suhab, so we can give you the right answer? Salim, joining the certification school in this community made me realize how much surrounding myself with like-minded and positive souls really drives the passion in me and pushes me to act and achieve and grow. The feeling is priceless. Salim, thank you so much. You can't imagine what it means to us, to see such results. I think you've joined not really recently. I think Salim is quite a new student, but if you were able to already have such powerful realizations, it's really, really important to us. Thank you so much for letting us know today. Mehroz, is therapy better than coaching or it's a next stage? What do you think, Medina? So I remember Mehroz from our info session. And I remember Mehroz was the one asking for us to be the hosts of this first coaching clinic. So I really think therapy is very different from coaching, Mehroz, and therapy should apply in different cases rather than coaching. So when the person seeks coaching, they really they should be aiming to discover their own answers, right? They have to look for a self-development journey together with a coach and be able to open up and be able to, be guided by the coach through the coaching questions and coaching sequences in order to understand how much, wealth of resources are they carrying with them. While therapy is really focused on diagnosis and cure. So coaching and therapy really have different goals, but Viraj, I know you'll have a personal, and professional opinion on this.
Yeah.
I think we'll benefit from that.
There's definitely values in both. I feel that coaching to me feels more like it's an elevation in performance, whereas therapy is about returning back to a previous state. So if you look at, say, an athlete, when they get injured, they have to go through a process of therapy to heal from the injury to just get back to the stage they were pre-injury. Coaching helps them improve their performance and grow so that they can get back to playing in the team or winning the titles and all of that. So it's a very different playing field in that sense, where therapy is more on the medicinal side, where it's about a cure. Whereas I suppose coaching can also say, okay, if you've incurred an injury, the same injury several times, what can we review to stop you to having that injury in the first place? So it really deals with the source of the problem rather than just bringing it back to where you were before.
Exactly. Dealing with the source of the problem. That's a really, really good one. Amrita is asking us, what if we achieve so much in life and have grown up so much and our spouse is happy at where they are? Do you think that might lead into an unhappy, unsettled marriage? Good one.
It's if you let it. Because if you're going through a growth journey and your partner is choosing not to, that's totally cool. Like you it's about accepting where you are and where you're not, and same for your partner. And it's dealing with it at that rather than having an expectation that they need to level up and match you, because otherwise I would question how much you have grown if there's an element of, say, judgment or righteousness that this person hasn't done this and I have, and that's where the tension really is. It's not because they've not done it. It's that created tension of I'm here and you're here, rather than looking at how does this work and how do we rebalance where we're at.
That's very useful, Viraj. Really powerful. Thank you so much for that advice. I'm sure Amrita will benefit from that. Miriam, thank you so much for being with us. Have a great evening. Thank you for tuning in. Denise, best decision I made joining the certification. Every day I grow more and more. I've become a better mom, wife, child, sibling, and friend. And now I will be a coach. Heartwarming. Thank you so much, Denise. Really means a lot to us. Andrew, thank you so much for this live session. I look forward to joining this amazing environment. Love you guys and see you soon.
Thank you for joining, Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you so much. Yvonne, be blessed and thank you once again for your service. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Omar, the main so far from the certification is listen with empathy so you can see with clarity.
And I would also add to that, listen with empathy to yourself as well.
Amazing. I mean, Omar is one of the students who is also heading towards the graduation. As far as I know, he's starting his coaching practice right now. Omar, I just want to say I love to see your growth, and we love your poems in the forum. We're going to be sharing your poems definitely with our wider audience very soon, because the world should see your talent, Omar, definitely. Sohab, sorry, I meant to learn more about certification school. Of course, Sohab, if you can just send a message to our page right here where you are right now, they will be sending you the full brochure with full details and answering all of your questions. Vanessa, thank you for such a powerful message, for helping so many of us to discover ourselves in deeper states. That was the goal. Thank you so much for your great work. Laura, I cannot wait to join. Thank you so much.
Can't wait for you to join.
Looking forward to welcoming all of you. Andrew and Hengame apparently are already having coaching session in the comments, and that is also great because Hengame is training for coaching. And Josette, all my whole life, I wish I found someone like this opportunity, and now I'm so excited by doing it. I know now there is always a new and better beginning. I want to be my own boss, and I can help and inspire others. Josette, thank you so much. It means that today's goal of the coaching clinic was achieved, because even if we were able to help one person change their beliefs today and discover, their own answers and their deepest belief in their abilities, I think, Viraj, it can count. Today's session can count.
A long way.
Coaching requires a good level of resilience to begin with. Therapy can be more about establishing that resilience. It's working at two different starting points. Do you agree, Viraj?
Oh, absolutely, spot on. And I just have a question in terms of the resilience to begin with. Is that for the client or for the coach?
Yeah.
But you're right. It's two different playing fields, two different things, and both add tremendous value based on where they start.
Agree, Viraj, wholeheartedly. Roman, does coaching focus on clients bringing up the answers out of themselves? Or can a coach provide clients with answers and guidance from their observation? That's for you, Viraj.
I would ask Rowan, if we told you exactly everything we were going to do in the first 10 minutes, would that have served you? Or by going through the exercise and the reflections and creating for yourself your own discoveries, would that have been more powerful for you? And in essence, that's what coaching is. It's just holding that space for your client and really mirroring back to them what's in their view, so that they can see it for themselves and able to make choices based on what they see and feel supported that a coach has got their back. So it's really a client-driven process, rather than us or Medina quite easily could have told everyone what to do in the first 10 minutes and that have been it. So it's really guidance from their observation and fully supporting them in whatever actions they choose to take.
Yeah. I also would like to add to that, Roman, a good way to understand coaching is that, as Viraj illustrated, with today's session, we had two options. We could come here and say, guys, you sent us questions. You wanted to know how to raise confidence. This is a step-by-step guide. Step 1, be more positive. Step 2, look for people who have succeeded. Or we had an option by first allowing you to explore, come up with your own answers. That's why you saw everyone had their own definition, their own understanding, and only then they were able to dig deeper and find their own answers. Whereas if we just gave step-by-step guide, the retention and the result of the session would probably be at 20%, comparing to what you are seeing, happening in the comments after the last exercise. So that's, in a nutshell, what coaching is. Thank you for all the appreciation. So many thank you messages. We are absolutely blushing, and away, because this is absolutely inspiring, and we are grateful for all your time, because you could have been doing anything right now, but you choose to spend 1.5 hours with us. This is
time's flown. Is that the time?
That's the time, and we really appreciate, the participation and you sharing with others, because you also have been teaching with us today. By providing your answers, by providing your reflections, you help the other people in today's community, in this clinic, see different perspectives. And this is one of the aspects of coaching, isn't it? Jenny, send the course details to me. We are definitely going to pass your inquiry to the customer support team, and they are going to contact you. Najma says, wow, it's already 1 hour and a half. Thank you for your time and dedication. You are most
The reminder, it's flowed.
We are also, surprised that we've been going for 1 hour and a half. Kanwar, thank you for your time. I'm a bit self-aware, but still conflicted on giving up my unfulfilling career to go into coaching, which I feel more aligned towards when it comes to my mission, helping others live a more fulfilling and happier lives. What do you think we can advise Kanwar, Viraj?
Yeah. So it's great that you're aware that you're in an unfulfilling career and you want to go into coaching. So I'd question, what are you conflicted about giving up? Like, whether is it a strategy piece, is it a belief piece? Because it's clearly a calling for sure. So maybe there's a bit of security that you're attached to and I can certainly relate to that. I was in a very, whilst lucrative, it was unfulfilling, but I was just so secure. I was so latched onto the security element that I wasn't making choices that ultimately were going to serve me. So I just explore in that, is there anything that you're just holding on to make the leap?
Yeah. Kanwar, also, I would like to share with you one quote which was given to me by my trainer when I was training for a coach. And I always carry this, quote with me. And he said to me once that, remember, everyone makes the best decision available to them at the current stage of life. And so sometimes it's a good idea not to put pressure on yourself to rush a decision, because you will make the best decision available to you at the given point of time. If now you feel you're not ready for that decision, maybe you should assess, whether you really need to take it right now, or you even have to rush taking, that decision right now.
Yanwar just replied, so I just wanted to address that as well. So I totally get that there may be some implications in place. So to me, it seems like there's more of an energy management piece. If you're in a career right now that is unfulfilling, if you just were to compartmentalize that and say, okay, right now that's paying the bills. Outside of that, what is it that you can create that can give you a passive income, that's going to nourish you, that's going to fill you up? And ultimately, it can lead to you transitioning into that as well. So don't look at it in the sense of, that's what I invite you to do, is not look at it in a totalitarian state, but look at it and say, how can I have both? Where's the balance? And how do I manage my energy and time accordingly so that I can focus on building something that's going to nourish you, that isn't going to place you in any kind of financial strain?
Absolutely, absolutely right. And I think also it's worth acknowledging Amrita. Amrita is one of our breakthroughs, if I may call so, today. Thank you so much, Medina and Viraj. I feel more confident now. We'll go to start my dance blog.
Brilliant.
Proud of you, Amrita. This is amazing. If
So
you
cool.
were able to gain that today, then again, the purpose has been served. Jacqueline, I just joined the session. Hello, you are still welcome. Najma is already, making friends and asking what kind of dance. Absolutely amazing. Mr. J, relationship coach, says, I always say counseling is saving you from drowning and bringing you to the shore. Coaching is taking you from the shore to living a productive life. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, there was a quote that I heard where it's like, if you give someone fish, you'll feed them for a day. But if you teach someone how to fish, they can sustain themselves. So that's how I really like to look at that, is, yeah, you could give someone the answers, but is that really serving them? Or if you could help them find their own answers and help them sustain themselves, that's the win-win.
I also think the challenge with coaching is that naturally we all want to jump in and give advice because we think we are helping, we are serving by giving advice. But in coaching, the philosophy basically is that you do not know what the client needs right now at the given state with this particular situation. And that is why only the client has the resources within to find the answers. Our job as coaches is to guide the client without advising directly or indirectly to find that solution within themselves. But Mr. J, you are on the right track, absolutely on the right track. Jacqueline, does this certification help us with outreach? Yes, we definitely help our students with outreach. They are listed on our website and they are also featured in the publication certifications. So absolutely, yes. Vanessa also wants to know the details about the course. Vanessa, I'm sure our team is going to get back to you, and you can also send a message to the page, and they are going to send you the full brochure. And Vanessa says, thank you. This is exactly how I feel about changing my career to coaching. And
Yeah.
Kanwar also has been thinking for last 8 years about coaching.
Yeah.
This is absolutely amazing.
And the reason why I connect to that, because that's exactly where I was 3 years ago, that I had a full-time job that I could go back to. And yet this is something that I just really want to do. And I was partway through the phase of it anyway, and I just recognized that I'm now phasing. So I just built it to the point where I felt comfortable to cut the cord. And it may well be that you don't even need to cut the cord. You can have both as well. So it's just keeping all options open, and then just making a call at the right time.
Yeah, I agree. I want to share a short story also, because a lot of our students, they come and they also feel there is a pressure to make that decision whether to transition full-time into coaching or not, and whether I have certainty, if I can make it, if I will have enough clients. But again, I want to bring you to the same question. When do we ever have certainty over any career that we are taking? Let's say you are getting a new job in a bank, right? And it's a really good job. This is maybe a dream job. You've been dreaming about it. But then so many things can happen after you start. Sometimes you don't make it through probation period. Sometimes you didn't find common language with your colleagues. Sometimes you just didn't vibe with your boss, isn't it? And you feel that no salary in the world can keep you in this job, and then you're quitting yourself. So when do we ever have certainty when we are starting a new endeavor? We don't really, and nobody can provide us with that guarantee. It's like when you are going to the university and you are enrolling in a master's degree. If you're going to ask your professor, like, are you sure I'm going to get a job, after graduating? Nobody can give you guarantees about that, or nobody can forecast how your career is going to end, because there are so many variables. But the good news is that, as Viraj said earlier, 90% of obstacles are internal and therefore can be conquered by yourself.
Yeah. And you just reminded me of a point right now. And I know obviously finances are a big area for everyone, but even jobs are not even secure right now. So if we're relying on, say, one form of income, and that may not be secure, and certainly I know plenty of friends that are in some difficult situations right now. Like now, if ever has been the best time to start creating something that can become a secondary or passive income source, or can transition to be a main income source, and you can reduce hours and things like that as well. So if ever there was a best time to get involved in something that's going to actually help you grow along with helping others grow, this is the perfect time for that.
I also think that, this time is showing us how important it is to be self-reliant, even in terms of, income, career, because how little depends on us. Like this few weeks showed us really how little control we have over our jobs, over traveling, over planning our year, over our health, right?
Yeah.
Over connecting with the loved ones. Like, for example, my family is stuck in USA right now, and I am in Bali, and I have no idea when I'm going to see them next. How little control I have right now. And just 1 month ago, I was thinking I'm in full control. I can see them anytime I want. Like, that's just an illustration how powerless sometimes we are.
Yeah, totally. And I think it's good to have plans. It's good to have expectations and structures, but rather, I think the best thing is not to be attached, so that it's not like, oh my God, I had all these plans and they're not coming to, I can't do them. But actually, how do we pivot and just make that adjustment and create?
Yeah, absolutely. I like what Michelle said. So many things are uncertain, even with the plan, right? But if you don't step out, you'll never know. Exactly right. Like even with the best plan, there is still no guarantee. You can actually succeed, but risk. And Stephanie says, what is the first step? It can't be coaching. I'm not really sure if you can elaborate on that.
Yeah.
Deb says, I feel that you have to start somewhere. If you trust yourself and you got your intuition, you will always be on the right path.
I think that's exactly that. You have to just make that start, and start by aligning with what's naturally calling you, and just explore from there.
Absolutely. I agree with Deb. Absolutely. I know she also studies in the certification school, and we can see, the power of the broad thinking. Definitely. Thank you for sharing. Renee says the uncertainties of life should not drive our passions toward our goals. That's powerful.
Mm.
The uncertainties of life should not drive our passions towards our goals, right? Because why should we change our goals, right? We still have to keep trying.
I
Absolutely.
think what I like about that is our passion, and uncertainty is the only certainty anyway. So if we can just accept that that's always going to be there, let's follow the route of our passion and see where that takes us.
Absolutely. Now, see the dynamics, Viraj. When we were starting the session and the questions we received were all about doubts and questions, and just look at the realizations at the end.
Amazing.
Look in empowering messages. Age does not matter. I feel we have to start somewhere. It's great that you can work at your own pace. Do it anyway. And I think this is a great note on which we are going to end our first clinic episode, but I'm just going to address Jenny's question. She's just joining now. If you haven't answered this, how is this certification different than others? Yeah, Jenny, today's session goal was really, the group coaching and answering the questions not pertaining to the program, but we can tell you that our program and our school is very different. And today's live is just an illustration of how different we are. First of all, because we are double accredited. Second is because we provide post-graduation support. And third, because during our program, our students are not only training, but they are actually practicing coaching under the observation of our qualified supervisors. So before they graduate, they do 20 hours of the coaching practice. But we do have a lot of more points. Our team can send you our full brochure and answer all the questions that you can have. Vanessa, face on our fears. Jacqueline, that is so good. Uncertainty is the sentence. Thank you. And on this note, I think we are ready to say goodbye, even though
we are overtime.
we could stay with you for another 1 hour, 40 minutes and keep going. You have been honestly the best audience. We could not wish for a better audience for our first live coaching clinic episode. We hope you tune in for the second one, which will happen in just 2 weeks. In just 2 weeks, we are going to have another session. So please submit your questions, write it to us in your message, or just comment on our page where the announcement is going to go. We are so much looking forward to the next episode. What would you like to be covered in the second clinic episode? Which questions do you have? Which exercises would you like us to bring to you next time? Are you going to be telling your friends to join the next coaching clinic so they can also benefit from the group coaching and maybe help wisdom go viral together? Viraj, thank you for being such an amazing co-host, as always.
No, thank you for having me. This has been a pleasure for me, and thank you to everyone that joined on live on replay for being with us and just sharing our energy. It's been phenomenal.
Thank you so much again. Thank you for spending so much time with us, and doing all the exercises. You're honestly the best. And we're looking forward to meeting you again in just 2 weeks in our live coaching clinics. Don't forget to tell your friends to come and benefit from the power of group coaching. Do not forget to come with pen and paper. As you can see, we are going to be doing a lot of practical exercises, and we will be repeating this every 2 weeks. So until next time, see you, and thank you so much for us today. Goodbye.
Thank you so much. Bye.